Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Golden State Sales Training Call. One thing I love about what we got going on here at Family First Life as a whole is the diversity in the training that we have and the expertise of training that we have. When somebody asked me to talk about X, Y, or Z in the business, it's like, well, I only know it from this view, right? But then you get to talk to other people who are like, well, I did this in this arena. I see how this helps this, and the perspective overall when it comes to not only how we do it, but why we do it. I think that's what makes a top producer. All right. And we have one of the, if not the best to ever do it when it comes to taking people who filled out forms and getting them the protection that they asked for. I remember back, me and Matt have been working together, God, 9-10 years. Crazy. And I remember at the other deal, we're in the back somewhere and at some meeting, and you asked me about about a number of appointments, right? And I was like, dude, we're just out there running it, putting them at the board. And at that point in time, Matt, what's funny is you were trying to figure it out. Like you were figuring it out at that point in time. And then something just said click. And I was like, God, that's the guy who's trying to figure it out. Now he's freaking the best in the country. Like, you know what I mean? Just so I want to back it up with you a little bit. Then I want to get into some things that you've seen recently. But at that point in time, I think that was 2011, 12?
11.
Yeah, probably 11. What were some things that were maybe some roadblocks, some thoughts that you had that wasn't allowing you to hit the production that you knew that you could produce here?
I think one of the big things, Dom, which I appreciate you having me on the call, by the way, this is great having me on your podcast, but is when I look back at those early years, you just don't know what you don't know. And unfortunately, with the platform that we were on, if you recall, it was literally like, here's a phone script and like an in-home script that was, the in-home script was garbage, and go out and do it. There was no, the blessing to go out and do it is it made me take a lot of action. The detrimental portion to it is I didn't have a lot of mentorship like we do here at Family First Life, where literally there's so much access to amazing training all over the place. I mean, most marketing organizations or captive insurance agents put like a secure key for their training. And, our secure key is log on to YouTube and click on some videos because it's all right there for you. It's like we hide nothing from anybody in order to get success. And that's what I love about this is in the beginning of maybe Family First Life, we were competing against each other more. How our company's evolved, thanks to Sean and all the great leaders that we have, is now we are working together for kind of one common goal. And it seems like it's like a very healthy competition. We're all still competing, but it's different. It's changed. And that's the part I appreciate it about the most. When I look back though, Dom, as far as those early years, I didn't have any direct mail in the beginning. So I actually was calling in internet leads and live transfer internet leads. I was living up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho at that time. There was no direct mail for the company I was working with. So literally I think I did my first full year, I think I did, 285 on all internet leads, right? And in a, not even knowing what I was doing at all or whatnot. So now that I see the internet live leads here and how little they cost, number one, compared to a lot of different lead vendors, and the opportunity in hand for people to actually get in front of a lot of people at a low cost, that's going to be a game-changing scenario. The other thing I would tell you early on, Dom, I know you did this a tremendous amount when you were in the field. You've been a great example of this, but if lead flow for some reason in a specific area isn't abundance, there's not a lot of it. You need to learn how to incorporate travel trips. Because the difference now, Dom, is you can do travel trips at a very low cost. You can go grab 100 instant internet life leads in an area for $1,100 or whatever. And if you use the discount, you get it less, but it's like, you can go get 100 leads, sit in front of, 25 people in 2 days 3 days and condense that schedule and make the most out of it. And early on, Dom, I remember when I was living in Coeur d'Alene, I would come down here to Portland, 6 hours away, run business down here, go over to Seattle, 5 hours, run over there, go into Montana, run over there, 4 or 5 hours, going to Central Washington, go there. And I didn't think anything, it just wasn't even a big deal. And sometimes I think now, I think people put a lot of weight on, oh, this is a big deal. We're talking about making multiple 6 figures of income. We're talking about the opportunity to make 7 figures of income. We're talking about the opportunity for your business to potentially get acquired. We're talking about big things here and generational wealth and all these different aspects that each and every person can have. But the difference is most people that start out, let's be honest, have probably not made 6 figures. But they somehow want to take this easy road to, like, I'm going to just make this much money. And the biggest thing is, if you're really trying to be a top producer, a top performer in any industry, you've just got to be able to do more and work more and be more intentional about your strategy. And the great thing about travel trips, Dom, is you and I both know that you're extremely focused. You can't go back home when you get no-showed. You can't, you probably have your leads with you. You probably have it all mapped out to do some door knocks. You're so much more efficient. So I would tell everybody, if you're not doing like 1 travel trip a month, I think you're missing out on an opportunity. And here's the other aspect of travel trips that people don't think about. Do a travel trip, find your little hunting holes, and then start hiring there, right? So it's a great way to not only make the most on your own pen, but then expand your agency. And if you're traveling to where leads are, guess what? That means there's a great opportunity for you to expand your agency that way too. So there's tremendous amount of benefits for those that want to do extra and work. That's really what it comes down to.
Dude, I love this because you basically took everything that may have been a roadblock or step or a hindrance per se at the beginning, and now now it's a thing to excel for new agents. Internet leads used to be, man, that's all I have, and they were $40-$50. Now they're 11. Now they're the best thing ever. Travel trips used to be direct mail, let it drop months after months, let them acquire, spend $6,000-$7,000 for a travel trip, and you would still make money. Right. But the barrier of entry to do these things, man, it's a no-brainer. Getting new agents started, okay? What is a good lead flow? What are you advising? And how are you seeing people ramp up their lead flow? What does that look like? Say you start, I don't know, give me an example. Somebody start with $500. How do they parlay that and keep it rolling?
Absolutely. So if the area has instant internet life leads, that's where I like to start. And if not, then some sort of social media final expense lead. And here's the math, because we hear different types of math. I prefer to set a very realistic and achievable expectation on what this money is going to look like. And I want them to make sure they understand what this could be. So let's say, you spend $500, I'll use social media leads first. Spend $500 on some final expense social media leads. You get maybe 20, 25 leads. I tell people you're going to only get a hold of maybe half those people, okay? You're probably only going to set, in the beginning, because you're not going to be that great, half of those appointments. So maybe you set 6 appointments out of 25 leads or 20 leads or so, because you only got a hold of 10 to 12. And out of those 6, you're probably going to sell 2. And what 2 looks like, Dom, is literally, average, we pay attention to this quite a bit, but the average final expense sale is about $840, taking everything in consideration. So, that's round numbers. That's about $1,680 of annual premium, 75% advance. You're probably going to get about $1,250, somewhere in that neighborhood, dropped in your bank account, 3 days after you purchase those leads, run that business and go from there. And then what I tell people is you'll probably get a hold of those other 10 that you have. You'll probably get one more sale off of that. So you'll probably have another, at 75% advance, another $600-$800 somewhere in there coming into your bank account too. So basically you took a $500 investment. You got about $1,800 in your bank account. You still have your trailing commissions on months 10, 11, and 12, and your vested renewals, all that stuff's still there. However, we're talking about cash in the bank and how we're running this business. And then the key to the success is you need to buy leads twice a week. That's what people don't really understand. So how do we parlay this money? How do we make our money work for us? Because there's a, it's a big difference between a lot of new people look at lead costs as a cost versus an investment. So now you got to say, okay, I'm going to take this $1,800. I'm going to take 500 more same week. So maybe you buy leads on a Sunday night for Monday dials, and then you buy Wednesday night for Thursday dials or whatever. But now we're taking that $500 and we're doing it all over again. And now we spend $1,000 a week, but the same numbers apply. So you're really talking about, now you're at $3,600 in your bank account off of $1,000. Now you're netting $2,600. Now you're making 10 grand a month of net revenue. How do you make six figures? We just showed you the way based off of those scenarios. And that we're talking about 3 sales inside of 20 leads, Dom. So we're not talking about, these phenomenal numbers or whatever. And so a couple different areas, it's either second chance leads in the CRM can be a tremendous opportunity as well, as far as return on investment, incident RF leads, social media leads. Those are the areas that I'd recommend you start. And then ideally, you want to have internet life leads, 500, social media leads, 500. So the thing I like about, final expense leads is you're able to fill up your schedule, because internet life leads, you're going to more of that type mortgage type client that you're going to be maybe getting 4 slots in the evening with. Can you meet internet life leads during the day? Of course. But I'm saying you're a little bit younger, working class, etc. So you still need to fill in your day. And it's interesting. I've had conversations because everybody always asks, Dom, how do I make money? Or what's the best lead source, right?
Yes.
And my point is this is, in my opinion, instant internet leads have the best return on investment as far as dollars for annual premium. Social media is a little bit less than that. And so people would say, well, why would you recommend that I would buy a social media lead versus that then? And this is my point. What else are you going to do with your day? You don't have a money problem. You have a people problem. You got to get in front of people in order to have the cash flow. So you've got to have final expense in your quiver, right? In order to expand your business and make sure you're doing 7, 8 appointments in a day. Because if you just did incident and likely, you might be only getting 4 appointments. What are you going to fill in for the rest of it? You're going to stay at home because the return isn't as good? It's like, what are we talking about? So, that's important. So I'm always more interested in how I can make money fast versus what is my return on investment? Because the return will be there on social media. It's great. It's fine. But, people are so worried about what's the best. It's like, you need to run 8 appointments in a day, 2 days in a row, and then do it again 2 days in a row, and run 30 appointments a week. And then everything else takes care of itself.
You just, you hit the nail on the head, dude. This is a speed game, and simplified issued social leads, internet leads. It's like a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
It's like, really? You mean I could get this many leads this fast, get paid in 2 days, do it all over again? Dude, when we started, man, we had to drop mail, cross our fingers.
Man, we were waiting,
we were excited
and saying, okay, here's the deal. Because we didn't even have second chance leads, right? Here's the deal. We're going to wait 4 weeks for you to get started here. It's like, what a great way to expand your business then. I wonder why we didn't expand like we needed to early on. Holy, couldn't get any leads in people's hands.
Crazy, dude. I heard this statement today. I was talking to an agent about emotions. Okay. I've heard you say a lot on the phone, like this business is 80%, 90%, what a great percentage on the phone. I believe it is everything. And we were talking, and it seemed like he had a lot of weight on his mind, on his heart about his clients. And I was like, did you sit with these people? Like, did you help them? He's like, no, these are just people that I called. And I go, I think this is key. And I want you to elaborate on this statement, but we said, don't care until you're there. What does that mean to you? I don't know if you've heard that before, but I think so many of us care so much about, it's like their client before they even get to the house. Like it wasn't a client until they took an application from me. That's the way I looked at it. Otherwise it was a name. I had like zero emotional attached to the lead, the people, none of that. What is that? And what does that allow you to do, not caring until you're there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important for you to understand that, especially early on, I think a lot of people, first of all, 95% of all decisions are made off of emotion. So that goes for a producer too. Like a lot of times we react to failure so much that where we don't set the appointment. The people that do that though, Dom, just don't have enough leads. The people that are dwelling on the four people that hung up on them or whatever are literally because they just don't have enough lead flow. So you need to create a lead problem for yourself where you buy so many leads, you have to take action. And you have to propel yourself forward because you're not thinking about the ones that you missed on the phone. You're sitting in front of people because you don't have time to think about it and go from there. So it's just, I never looked at a client that way either. I always, if I sat with them and they did business with me, that was when they were my client, right? So the key is obviously you want to process every lead, right? You want to make sure that you door knock, get in front of them. Even if they say no on the phone, give yourself every opportunity to get in front of them. Yeah. But you can't take it personal. It's hard not to because we're all human beings. We take everything personal to a certain extent. But managing your emotions. And the other thing too in business, think about this, Dom, like your ability, simple things like this, your ability to take rejection probably is going to be the difference in this business of whether you are able to succeed or fail. Your ability to, we all get knocked down, but it's how quick we get back up, right? And how we handle that rejection as well. And a lot of times, I could delve off into a whole nother subject on this, but a lot of times, we have our home lives where maybe someone's not supportive of this business because you're not having this instant success and you need to, maybe have a good conversation with your partner or spouse and get that under control. Or it's maybe a friend that you're letting influence you in certain ways. So you kind of always got to check your circle, right? Your top 5, figure out who you're hanging around and probably eliminate one and change that with a mentor. I was listening, I actually posted on my Facebook page because I liked it so much. I was listening to a podcast this morning that was talking about mentorship. And they said the great thing about friendships is a good role that people can have in a friendship is telling you how far you've came, right? Having that type of friend. The great thing about mentorship is how far you need to go. And the great thing about Family First Life is we have great mentors, great leaders that keep stretching us, right? Sean's tremendous at goal setting and reaching new heights. So I think you got to be careful on who you're hanging around if you want to get to another level.
Dude, that's huge. That's massive. I was talking to somebody the other day and they were talking about leads and, hey, I got to call this person back, and in the home, hey, I'm going to get with them next week. And it started ringing in my brain. I was like, oh my God, like I remember that stack of leads that was like the get back leads. I remember that part of my calendar that had, hey, get back with Tom on Wednesday. Like I had a stack of those leads in that type of mentality. And then I got sick and tired of it and something changed, but it's that gray area. Sean's always like, dude, it's black or white here, dude. You live in this gray area of trying to understand why people can't afford it or why this is not the good time or they just moved into their house and need to figure out their bills, and you allow that to be a thing. Dude, where it's a slippery slope, it's never going to stop. So did you ever go through that stack of leads, that get backs, and what kind of truths can you help us out with if I'm brand new and that may be starting to happen or I'm not even there yet?
The one thing I would say what's interesting about those leads is there is a lot of money in those leads. Mm-hmm. Great, the fire alarm's going off in my office. Sorry, man.
It's hot in there.
Oh, man, that's really annoying. Oh, good, it turned off. So there we go. But yeah, there's a tremendous amount of money in those leads that you have not processed. And a lot of times what I always did, Dom, is a lot of times we just buy more new leads and buy more new leads. And then at least, so here's a secret, a simple one, right? Do yourself a favor, and with the callback leads and all that stuff, hire an agent and give them those leads, because there's money in those leads. Like, how about that for a simple, if you're not going to call them, or if you're not going to follow up properly like they need to be, and you have this stack that grows, because it does grow, why not give it to someone that's hungry and wants to get to work and wants an opportunity? So that's what I did with those leads.
Okay.
And it's been a very effective tool to grow your business too. And I would follow up and call, and I'd close deals too. It's amazing.
Okay.
You know this, Dom. You could call a year-old lead,
no doubt,
into freaking $2,400.
Well, I think my stack was created because I wasn't strong enough to close. I wasn't strong enough to book. Does that make sense? I was taking the easy way out. They'd say, "Hey, it's not a good time. Give me." Then I'd be like, "Okay." Then I would buy it. Basically, I'm in the gray area of like believing clients. Can you talk about that?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think everybody was like, "Oh my God." I remember talking to Chantel Weaver. She goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe they would tell me." This was like 6 months in. "I can't believe somebody would tell me to call them back, get their bank account, and then they would block my number." I was like, that's the gray area. So can you talk about that, like that closing, that not just, taking those little short, those easy way outs, you think?
Yeah. I mean, the biggest area that I see agents, they're good at being informational specialists, but they're not good at closing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy, because think about all the effort, the money, the dials, the driving, and then you get to a house. I thought about this a lot in the field, and I tried to not let that happen and get my mind right going in every single home. But think about all the energy, effort, and time that you spend to get to the house. And then a lot of times, I guarantee if people were being honest for themselves, they didn't even give their best foot forward in their presentation. They didn't even, because maybe they were holding them, maybe it could be several things why they didn't. That maybe it's fear of failure. Maybe, they if they did 90%, they could give them an excuse why it didn't work, all those different areas. But I think your ability to really, secret weapon in the house, Dom, is empathy, because if you put yourself in their shoes, it shows you that you care. And that believes a lot of, people liking and trusting you, doing business with you is important. So I think that the area where most people don't close is empathy, which allows you to truly identify the problem. Most people don't identify the problem in the house, and then actually providing the solution they can qualify, not the one that they want, the one that we give them. So that's the difference between, if you're trying to capture sales, is we are the ones that prescribe the medication, right? We are the solution. And the only thing that matters about communication, right, is do they understand what we're saying? Because if the person on the other end doesn't understand what we're saying, it means we're not doing a good job of communicating the house. So you got to kind of check yourself and re-look at things and understand what works and what doesn't.
Last question is, why do clients not tell the truth sometimes? And how do you get through it?
Well, similar to your last questions, you just got to realize there's always two salespeople in the room. You and your clients. They're selling you on something, and you're trying to sell them on your solution, right? And I think that if you get down to asking good questions, Dom, you won't have people. It's almost like you don't allow them to not tell the truth. Mm-hmm. So the problem with most producers is they don't layer questions well enough to get to the real root of the problem. I mean, this goes for, I could delve off into trauma and pain and all this stuff, but a lot of people stay on the surface on everything in life. Right. And they never get down to the root of the actual problem or why they filled out the form, because we're talking about, these people are middle America. They're not going to save their way to a financial freedom scenario. So life insurance is all they have. And if you're letting them convince you that their way is going to be better, which is having nothing, there's a fundamental problem with your belief level and what we're doing. 100%. If there was one magic power I could give everybody, is believing in yourself. So if you believe in yourself and you act as if imagine what you can accomplish. I talk about it all the time, but imagine how you would approach this business if you knew you were going to make it without a shadow of a doubt. If you knew you were going to make it without a shadow of a doubt, you'd be getting an office, you'd be hiring staff, you'd be buying more leads, you'd be running like crazy because you knew you'd make it. You believe in yourself. The problem is some of us, or a lot of us, hold ourselves back with our belief level. And here we are with all the success all across the board with Family First Life. And it doesn't take much in regards to belief, but you've got to just, look at your circle, reevaluate that, reevaluate what you're thinking, and your thought process and how you can get better. Those are important aspects to really get to this next level and experience what this industry and what Family First Life can do for you.
Matt, I can't thank you enough, man. It's been a privilege and an honor to be in business with you. And congratulations on your integrity partnership, to go from, leads to, trying to figure out leads, sitting down with clients, to helping people get integrity deals, man. It's a beautiful thing, dude. And I'm honored to be a partner of yours, man. And look forward to the next 10, 15, 20 years, dude, because I don't think we're changing up and doing anything else. So exactly. Dude, this is,
thank you.
This has been fun, dude. Everybody, thanks for hopping on. This will be uploaded to YouTube, Facebook, all over the place. And if you did not catch the rapid fire objections video Matt did with Paul McLean, I'd hop on that. All right. And that's why I didn't get into a lot of word tracks and stuff like that. I was like, he already did that. It's like, it's there. So like, just go back and watch that one and you'll be like, damn, like those are very common things and it just comes so fast. So I appreciate you, dude. Have a good day. Later, guys.
You too.